Hey guys, Bruce here. Hope you're doing great. I want to show you today, if you can see, these lights are pretty much all a lot of burnout lights on the bottom of this cheap 13-gallon fish tank. I've had this thing for a long time. It's done really well for growing out some extra fish and using it also as a quarantine tank if need be. But I'm going to go ahead and change it out. Got a new 20-gallon that I already have all the stuff I need for. I have a filter, I have gravel, I have a glass top for it, I have a fluorescent tube light which will be fine for it, and then I'm just going to reuse what you see here, which is the sponge filter, the heater, and the hang-on back filter. So basically at this point I'm just getting everything all torn down and take it apart and get the water drained down to about maybe 5-6 inches of water left, so I can move the tank off of here, get the new one on there, and then go from there. Here is my siphon. This works great. Just can turn that knob and it'll start a siphon going, and drains right down into a floor drain in my basement. And in the meantime, I'm getting everything all unplugged. I have my light on a timer on the left hand side there. Get everything else ready to switch over. Now, I'm not breeding in this tank, but I do keep a cave in there when I have bristlenose catfish in there, because the males will go inside the cave. And I'm making sure there aren't any in there right now, but these are ones I made. I have videos on these that I had made out of the clay product that you can bake in your own oven at home. And I have these in all my tanks. They work really, really well. So now that I know it's light enough to move, I'm going to go ahead and carefully move it over to the side so I can get the new tank up there. And these things are the exact same dimensions width-wise. This is just deeper, so I already know it fits perfectly. Alright, now this is word one of advice. If you have gravel from an old tank you're going to move, I recommend you scoop some of it up. You don't have to use all of it, and move it over to the new tank. Do not clean it, do not rinse it out, do not do anything. I'm removing some marbles that happen to be in there. But just move it over to the new tank in a thin layer. Now you can do this same thing if you know someone who has an aquarium that is okay with you stealing a couple cup loads of stone from them, because I'm telling you, this stuff is packed full of beneficial bacteria, and it will start your tank out in the right way. Here I have some of my typical cheap pea gravel that I use, and I'm pouring it right over the top of this that other gravel. That's absolutely fine, and just layering it out, trying to keep some of my rocks here on top, although I'll get that all straightened out eventually. Go ahead and spread it out. Remember, always give yourself a nice thick layer of substrate, because beneficial bacteria lives down in that substrate too, not just in your filter like so many people believe. And that is really good at helping maintain good water parameters by breaking down ammonia. And I'll tell you another thing I do. I always put in some sand in my substrate. The reason being, I like a wide variety of sizes of substrate. Larger rocks, smaller rocks, pea gravel, and then even some sand down in there because, again, a variety of sizes makes for a lot of surface area for good beneficial bacteria to grow. And that is what you want if you want to have good, healthy water conditions in the long term. Now you notice I'm spreading this sand down into the substrate. That's because I don't want a layer of sand. I've had sand tanks, sand bottom tanks, and then I still actually do in some of my tanks keep areas where I keep it kind of sandy because the fish like that. So, but in this particular case, I'm just mixing it right into the substrate. All right, guys, now this is very important. The water that you use to fill your new tank, you should get water at least 50% from an existing tank. Either one of your tanks that you know the water conditions are good, or if you have a friend that has a nice tank set up, and they'll let you steal a few gallons of water out of it, go ahead and do so. The reason is there's already beneficial bacteria floating around in their water column, and you want to get that moved over into your tank so that you can avoid bacterial blooms while your bacteria builds up in your tank. So once I do this and I have, like I say, anywhere from maybe a third to a half of the tank filled with this old water, then I'll go ahead and get my new water. I'm planning on moving fish right into this, and they will be fine moving right into it because of the fact there's so much existing water in there already. So I'll go ahead and use my laser pointer here, get the water right up to the correct temperature, and go ahead and get that tank so I can move fish into it immediately. So now I'm going to go ahead and start my water, filling it up. This is only cloudy because of the dust in the from the stones, which will get filtered off within an hour. But the water itself, the parameters are great. They're ready for a fish. I won't have any problems with it. It's perfect. Even right down to the water temperature is perfect to move fish right into this tank. The sponge filter was dirty from the old tank, so it has beneficial bacteria. The water has beneficial bacteria, and some of the substrate that I moved over has beneficial bacteria. So this tank is ready to go. It is primed and ready for a good solid fish environment. So I got her all filled up. I have a glass lid that I had ready to go. My filter's in, my heater's in, my sponge filter is in. Everything's going. And I'm expecting, if everything works out per normal, that the sandiness from the water mixing in will be gone in about 1 hour. Now I got my light on here. This is just a fluorescent light because, again, nothing fancy. This is for stock, not for display. And let's look. So I came down after an hour. I moved over the guppies and the bristlenose pleco babies that were in there. And this tank is good to go. There will be no algae blooms. There's no more work to do. This tank is established. It has good bacteria from the filter, from the gravel, and from the water that I put in it. And that's it. This tank's good. It's ready to go. All right, guys, so what I want you to get out of this is that if you have an existing tank, utilize what you have, that is beneficial bacteria in your water, beneficial bacteria in your substrate, beneficial bacteria in your filters. If you need to move filter floss over or swap out some sponge filters to use in your new tank, that's the best way to do it, because as I said, this tank, I'm making part of this video the following day. It's crystal clear, and I will have zero problems with that tank, needing to be having any sort of algae blooms or bacterial blooms or anything like that. It's done. That tank is established in 1 hour time. So hope that helps you, gives you some thoughts. And like I said, don't forget, if you don't have an existing tank, check with somebody you know who does. Chances are really good they're fine with you taking some gallon jugs over, getting some of their water, maybe even scooping up a couple cups full of their substrate if they're really good pals. So thanks for watching, you guys, and talk to you later.